Hello my dear students. So in part 1 of nutrition in human beings, in that video we have studied what happens to our food in our mouth and in the stomach. So now next we can study from stomach, it goes to the small intestine and what happens to the food in our small intestine. And some notes are given in the description box, so don't forget to watch it also. The partially digested food then goes from the stomach into the small intestine. So next part is small intestine. So the food from the stomach goes into the small intestine. And the exit of food from stomach is regulated by a sphincter muscle which releases it in small amounts into the small intestine. And the small intestine is the longest part of the alimentary canal. It is a long tube of about 6.5 meters long. Uh, Even if it is the longest part, it is named as small intestine because it is a narrow tube. So it is given the name small intestine. Okay, and the length of this small intestine varies in different organisms based on the type of food they eat. For example, herbivores are eating plants, and we know plants have cell wall made up of cellulose, and this cellulose is a complex structure, so it is difficult to digest. So herbivores have a longer small intestine for digesting the cellulose. And this carnivores, they are eating meat, and meat is easier to digest. So carnivores have a shorter small intestine when it is compared with the length of the small intestine of herbivores. Okay, then this long intestine is divided into three parts: duodenum, jejunum and ileum. And the first part of the small intestine is called duodenum. So this is the first part and this is called duodenum. And we can see two glands are opened into this duodenal part. So from this is one gland that is opened into duodenum. This is another gland that is also opening into the duodenum. And this liver is one gland. This is the liver, and we know liver is the largest gland in our body. And liver secretes a juice called bile juice. So liver secretes a juice called bile. And this if excess bile juice is secreted, that is stored in a bag-like structure called gallbladder. Okay, and the bile has two functions. One function is that this bile is alkaline in nature. So it will, now the food when it comes from stomach, it is acidic in nature. So this bile is alkaline in nature. So it will mix with the food and changes the food into basic medium. Then only the enzymes that is secreted by this pancreas can act on the food. So one function is bile juice will convert the food into alkaline medium for the action of the enzymes of pancreas. Then another function is that fats are present as bigger globules, bigger particles. Then enzymes can't act on it or digest it. So this bile juice will break these bigger particles of fats into smaller particles. Okay. Then the food is mixed. Then pancreas juices from pancreas will act on the food. And this pancreas produces three types of juices for pancreatic juices. One juice is called pancreatic amylase. Second one is an enzyme called trypsin. And third one is also one enzyme called lipase. So three juices, pancreatic juices. And this pancreatic amylase, we know salivary amylase digests the starch. So pancreatic amylase also begin to digest the starch. Then enzyme trypsin. Here in stomach we study enzyme pepsin. Digest the proteins into peptones. Not to amino acid, into peptones. So digestion is not completed. So this enzyme trypsin will change the peptones into peptides. So here also digestion of protein is not completed. So enzyme trypsin also digests the proteins. It will digest the peptones into peptides, or you just say it will digest the proteins. And enzyme lipase will break down the fats. Okay. So after this, the food from this duodenum moves into the next part of the intestine, and the walls of the intestine also will secrete some juices called intestinal juices. Intestinal juices. And this intestinal juices will act on that partially digested food, and the intestinal juice will change. Here also the starch is not completely digested. So it will change that carbohydrate into the simplest form, glucose. Then it will change these peptides into, or proteins into, amino acids. And again the intestinal juices that will help to change the fat into fatty acids and glycerol. And the digestion of food is completed in the small intestine. So the insoluble larger particles of food are completely digested into smaller water soluble particles. So carbohydrate changes into glucose, proteins into amino acids, and fats into fatty acids and glycerol. So chemical digestion of food is taking place by the action of some enzyme. So we have studied ingestion and digestion. Then the next step is absorption. So the third step is absorption. So here the digestion of food is completed in the small intestine, and the digested food is absorbed by the walls of the small intestine. And the small intestine is specially adapted for this purpose. So when we look inside the walls of the small intestine, there are so many finger-like projections are present in the wall of the small intestine. And these finger-like projections are called villi. And these blood vessels are connected with this villi. So in this villi we can see blood vessels are also present in this villi. Okay. So if the walls of the small intestine was straight like this, and if these walls are absorbing the food, what about the area, surface area, only this much? But if it has so many foldings like this, what about the surface area? It is small. So what is the advantage of villi? It gives a large surface area for the absorption of food. Okay. So through villi, the digested food is absorbed and it is collected into the blood. The next step is assimilation. Assimilation. So from the blood, it is carried to all the cells in our body, and all the cells assimilate this digested food materials and use this digested food for releasing energy, and some amount will be used for growth and repair of the body. And the excess food or excess energy is stored in the form of glycogen, and it is stored in our liver. So which is the energy reserve in human being? That is glycogen. Okay. And which is the last step? So third one absorption, fourth one assimilation, and fifth step or last step is egestion. So from the small intestine, digested food is absorbed into the blood. Then the small intestine is connected to a wider tube, and that is called large intestine. This large intestine is shorter than the small intestine, but it is named as large intestine because it is wider than the small intestine. So it is given the name large intestine. So the undigested, all the food is not digested, some part is undigested, and that undigested food materials moves from the small intestine into the large intestine. And in the large intestine also some villi is present, and from this undigested food material, water is reabsorbed by the villi in the large intestine. Okay, so that the undigested food material will become in a semi-solid form, and that moves through the large intestine, and it is stored in this part called rectum. And from rectum it is given out through the opening called anus as feces or stool. And the process of giving out this feces or stool through the anus, that process is called egestion, or it is also called as defecation. Okay, so the process of nutrition in human beings is over. We study the 5 steps: ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. Okay, so we can meet in next class. Bye.